Oh, tell me what's poppin'. Jesus is my rock, that's how I roll. Welcome to another episode of California Preachin'. Well, I've been feeling a little melancholy today. I've just been thinking about family. I don't know, isn't it always that way around the holidays now that Thanksgiving's coming and Christmas? It just makes me think about my childhood and my relationships and how they are all woven together and the ones I miss. And I just wanted to sort of talk about those feelings and what makes us who we are. I really do believe that we are a product of our environment. Not, 100%, but I mean, come on. Obviously, people sort of do have an impact on our personalities and how we develop and who we turn into as people. And so I just wanted to share a little bit of my family with you guys. Fathers. This is a picture of me and my dad. Probably 1970. I don't know if you guys can see it that well. This is my favorite photo of my father and I. You can just see the love that he has for me in his eyes and the love I have for him in my eyes. It's just such a sincere, beautiful photo. And it makes me really sad because my relationship with my father was so complicated and so tragic. I just wish things could have been a whole lot different, but they weren't. Before I get in the waterworks, if you want the Jesus vibe, please subscribe. California Preachin' is a great way to get in touch with the Holy Spirit and to be able to have some really cool support that we all need along the way in our walk with God and in our search for God. Yeah, and don't forget to push that little alarm to get the notifications. Obviously, my dad was a hippie. I mean, there's no two ways around it. Full-blown hippie. Have you ever heard the hippie joke? Why didn't the lifeguard save the hippie from drowning? Because he was too far out, man. My dad was an incredible person. He was a really, really special human being. He was obviously very troubled and tortured and had a horrible, horrible addiction to drugs and alcohol and did some things that I'm not proud of, and I know he's not proud of, to say the least, but I have to tell you that he held a very special place in my heart. Here's a cool, interesting fact that you guys might not know. My mother and my father were in a group called the Journeymen before the Mamas and Papas. That's my dad. Wait, no, that's my dad. That's my mom. And this is Marshall Brickman. Marshall Brickman wrote the play The Jerseyman, one of my favorite plays of all time. Such an amazing writer. Yeah, The Journeyman, great sound. What an amazing sound. Scott McKenzie was also in that band. My mother was always really insecure about her singing abilities, but my father just kept pushing her along and encouraging her. Slowly but surely, she started to gain confidence as a singer and then eventually as a songwriter. And she plays the guitar and piano really, really beautifully. I remember I used to hear her playing the piano, when I'd be getting ready for bed, or I'd hear her playing the guitar late hours of the night. She loved playing Spanish songs. And this is a great shot of my mom. I know this is very poor quality, guys, and forgive me, but look at this photo. How amazing. Look how beautiful. Oh my gosh. My mom is an amazing woman. If you met my mom, you would love her. She's just so full of life, so many stories. She lost her mom when she was only 5 years old. It's really sad. Her mother had scarlet fever when she was young, and because of that had a compromised heart and ended up dying when she was only like 23 years old. So sad. That was my grandma. It's awful. My dad was also a very talented songwriter. Some people would even refer to my father as a genius. Obviously, he was a 1/4 member of the Mamas and the Papas, and he was pretty much the sole writer of their songs. He and my mother were both in that group together. This is a photo of my mom, myself, and my father. It is actually the only photo I have of myself as a child with my parents. I love this picture too. It's a little faded, but those 60s pictures always turned out faded. But this is another one from our wedding that I love. Me, mom, and dad on my wedding day. I actually had my mom and my dad walk me down the aisle on my wedding day because I felt like it wouldn't have been fair to just have my father walk me down the aisle, considering that my mom raised me. I felt like it was the right thing to do, the respectful thing to do, to have her alongside me. So my dad was on one side and my mother was on the other. Both my parents also accompanied me to the Grammys when Wilson Phillips was nominated for, I think it was 5 Grammys. And here's a picture of me and my dad at the Grammys together. I love this picture. I look so happy. I'll never forget that he got me a bracelet. Yeah, I don't have the bracelet right now, but it's such a beautiful little bracelet, and it's got like 4 records on it. One said "Hold On," one said "Release Me," one said "You're in Love," and one said "The Dream Is Still Alive," and the other one said "Impulsive." So it was just really special to me that my father took the time to make me a charm bracelet in celebration of my Grammy nominations, which we ended up not winning one, but that's okay. Here's the picture of me and my mom at the Grammys. She's kind of giving me that "I'm so proud of you" cheek squeeze. It's so sweet. Sometimes I just think about, like, who would I be today if my parents had remained married, and if my father was still alive today, and I could like go to my house that I was raised in and open the door and there would be, you know, John and Michelle married, mom and dad. It's just so beyond, it's so non-reality, but just the fantasy of what it would be like to open the door and be like, Mom, Dad. I mean, when I meet people today that tell me that their parents are still married and they're like, you know, in their 50s, I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It's just so foreign to me. Yeah, so both my parents were married multiple times. And yeah, my mom was married to Dennis Hopper for 2 weeks. I kid you not, you guys. 2 weeks. So obviously that was an annulment. That didn't go so well. I'm just shocked that I don't have an ex-husband. I know I've said that before on this channel, but it is really true. Like, I mean, from where I come from, it's kind of a shocker that I don't have an ex-husband. It's so funny. My dad used to say to me, my second wife left me because I have revenge issues. And then he'd go, we'll see about that. My wedding day was really spectacular. I should say our wedding day. I had a Vera Wang dress. It was really nice. It was a beautiful reception. We had it at our friend Neil Hirsch's house. He just passed away. God rest his soul. I was really tired on my wedding day. Very, very tired. I had to take a 45-minute nap in the middle of the reception. I kid you not. I know that sounds like the rudest thing ever, but I could not, for the life of me, sleep the night before our wedding. I was just like pinned, staring at the ceiling. Nobody knew because there was like music playing and great food and everybody was just mingling and I was sleeping. My grandmother said to me on my wedding day, she was Hungarian and had a very thick accent. She said, "Darling, my best advice to you is whenever you're wrong, admit it. Whenever you're right, shut up." She was right, but I don't take her advice. I'm not very good at that advice. This is one of my all-time favorite photos. This woman right here is Rosa Garcia. Rosa Garcia was my housekeeper that came to live with me when I was only 18 months old, and she stayed until I was 19 years old. And Spanish was basically my first language. This woman fed me, dressed me, walked me to school every single day. She sang songs to me. She played, with me. She was just such a beautiful, beautiful soul. And she made me feel so seen and so safe in my life. And this was actually her birthday. Rosa's the reason why I speak Spanish. I mean, she refused to learn English. My mom told her that she would pay for her English classes if she wanted to go on the weekends. And she was like, why would I ever go to an English class when you speak Spanish and Chynna speaks Spanish? I'm good. I was the beneficiary of that one because I speak Spanish fluently. This here is my brother, Austin, and Austin is now in his late 30s, and he has a 2-year-old son, actually 3. Oh my gosh, it goes so fast. And this is my brother, Aaron. Aaron is, I've got to do an interview with Aaron. He's a great guy. You guys would love him. And he's also in his late 30s. And this is my sister, Bijou. And Bijou is the funniest, most talented, most charismatic person you'll ever meet. I love my sister, Bijou. My brother Jeffrey is the sweetest guy. He lives in San Francisco. I actually did a calpreach with him way back, but you guys should watch it. It's really interesting and funny, and he's just such a character. And his full sibling is Mackenzie Phillips. And so it's interesting because I'm the only one between my mom and my dad, but I have 7 siblings. I'm one of 7, so I have 6 siblings. Jeffrey, Mackenzie, Tamerlane, Bijou, Austin, and Aaron. I was always really proud of Mackenzie just because I used to go to the set of One Day at a Time, and I used to watch she and Valerie Bertinelli on the set, like, you know, doing their thing, and I just was in such awe that she was on like this hit series and that she was working, and I knew that, I mean, she seemed so old to me at the time, but literally she was like 16 years old, so she was still a babe in the woods with such a big career. And Mackenzie was one of my bridesmaids. I think I might win the trophy for most bridesmaids ever at a wedding. I think the number was 12 bridesmaids. Oh, my gravy. I would do a lot of things differently. I mean, I would have Mackenzie, but I would do a lot of things differently on my wedding day. I probably would just be like the barefoot on the beach, 10 people. Our wedding was way over the top. My brother Tamerlane is such a unique and special soul. He is definitely one of a kind, and I love him so much. I did a calpreach again on my relationship with my brother and kind of our history and what happened to us when we were younger. You know, I have really positive memories with my brother Tamerlane, and then I have some really sad, dark memories with my brother Tamerlane. Like, for example, I remember one time I went to New York to visit my dad, and I don't know, I think my father was asleep, and we got into his stuff in the bathroom, and we found all of these syringes, no needles, but just like, you know, the plastic part. And so we filled them with water, and we started having like water gun fights with them, which is so disturbing. Yeah, because for those of you who don't know, my father was a notorious heroin addict. This is our wedding invitation framed. I love this. I'm gonna read it to you guys. Miss Chynna Phillips and Mr. William Baldwin request the honor of your presence at their marriage on Saturday, the 9th of September, 1995 at half after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary Roman Catholic Church, 168 Hill Street, Southampton, New York. Reception immediately following the ceremony at the home of Neil Hirsch. All families are complicated. I mean, I don't think I'm the only one with a very complicated family. Families are temperamental, half temper, half mental. That's definitely my family. And I love actually everybody in my family. I can't think of one person in my family that I don't love. I don't have tremendously close relationships with everybody in my family, but I would say pretty close. I mean, I'm very lucky in that way. I can't think of one family member that I don't speak to at all, and that's saying something. When I first started dating Billy, you know, he was always very romantical, but so before we married, we had a 3-year courtship before we actually got married. It took him a while to come around, but He finally did. But he went to Japan and he sent me this little fan from Japan with this writing on it. Of course, I didn't understand anything that it said. I had no idea what it said. And later, I had it translated, and it says, "Dearest Chynna, Japan is a beautiful place. Yesterday, I went to see sumo wrestling. Today, I go to the shrine at the Imperial Palace. EOM, love, Billy." And I was always so confused why it said EOM at the bottom. Billy wouldn't tell me for the longest time what EOM stood for. And finally, after a few weeks, he told me that it meant every other moment, that he was thinking of me every other moment. Oh, so sweet. So I'm sort of sad that I'm not going to be with Billy over Thanksgiving because he's still in Rome, but he's really having a fantastic time over there, and he's working really, really hard, but he's also getting a little time to sightsee, so I'm happy for him, but I know it's going to be rough without him. As we go into the holiday season, you guys, I just want to take a minute to thank you for, oh my gosh, just your incredible support over the past couple of years, and just all the fun and all the love and all the time that we've shared and all the growing and just walking each other home. I look forward to many, 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 many more videos. And I just love you guys and thank you for all of your support. And I will be praying for all of you over the holiday season. God bless and peace of Christ. Hey, you guys, if this video blessed you in any way, I pray that you will subscribe, and I also pray that you'll press that little button next to the subscribe, because that is an alert button, and it will give you a notification every single time there's a brand new Cal Preach. And of course, share, because sharing is caring, and you just never know who's going to find the peace of Christ. Amen.